Welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Taylor and today we will be ranking all 10 of Taylor Swift's current albums before the Tortured Poets Department comes out. But before we hop in the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you love all things music, especially Taylor Swift. I was inspired by Nina Shelby plus all of the people on Swift Talk posting their top 10 rankings before the Tortured Poets Department comes out. And I thought it's been about a year of me being on this channel and we've reacted to 2 Taylor Swift album releases, Speak Now TV and 1989 TV. And we're about to do our first new piece of work from Taylor Swift, the Tortured Poets Department. So I thought I would do a little get to know me Swiftie edition with me ranking these albums, telling you my favorite songs in the album, as well as a little bit of the backstory on me with the albums. Now, unlike Nina, I will be ranking 1 through 10. Just because it's in 10th place does not mean it's a bad album. I always say with Taylor Swift songs, really it just depends on my current mood. Plus, it depends on my current taste and style. I am a person who is very heavily invested in the sonics and production of an album. I'm very much like my father. If a sound of a song does not match what my brain wants it to sound like, it doesn't matter the greatest of lyricism of all time. I know she's a Swiftie and lyricism is not the #1 thing on her list for her, then I won't, it won't rank as high as some of the other songs. So you'll see that come into play. Plus, I am a pop girly. When I was younger, the country was definitely a vibe growing up in Tennessee, but I am very much so a pop girly. So if you see the country lower down on the ranking, I'm very sorry to all my country people out there. This is not me saying these are bad albums. This is just me saying my personal feelings and taste lie here right now. And I will explain a little bit how I do this. So basically what happens is I go into the Taylor Swift song sorter. I'll link the one I use in the comments down below. And I rank all of the songs in her discography. Then I have an Excel spreadsheet. And yes, this is the academia in her getting all mathy, where I have every album laid out with the track listing and I input the ranking of each song in the album. Then I create the average number of my rankings for that album, and then I rank the albums based on the average number. So, for example, if it's 15 albums on a song and it all adds up to 150, then the average number would be 10 for that album, and then I'll just rank based on how those numbers fall out. And yeah, you'll see some patterns in here, but I guess without further ado, let's hop into the ranking. So in 10th place, this is such a hard album to put at 10th place because it is by far the most nostalgic album for me. This is the album that literally sang me to sleep as a child. However, my taste for country music has gone down, and this is the most far removed from a Taylor Swift release that we have, and that is Debut or Taylor Swift. This was the first ever Taylor Swift album that I bought. So it definitely has a very special place in my heart compared to all the other albums. And I know when Debut TV comes out, it's gonna skyrocket because some of these vault tracks that could even possibly make it onto the list just are absolutely superior. But as of right now, it kind of makes sense since it's the most far removed from an album that I am. I'm no longer 6 years old when I would have probably first heard the songs on this album. Plus, my taste for country music has gone down. And yeah, plus she's really not been releasing or playing a lot of debut songs on the Eras Tour and everything. And I feel like whatever is currently going on in the ethos and the Eras Tour or her current releases always tends to get a bump in my listening habits. But in terms of my top 5 songs on Debut, first off we have Should Have Said No. This song was a favorite as a kid, and it's just skyrocketed as a favorite to now. Up next is Mary Song. Mary Song. I love Mary Song so much. It's also another favorite from when I was a kid. Then we have I'm Only Me When I'm With You. This is definitely probably the poppiest song on this album, and you could see how it skyrocketed just up near the top for me. It's just so fun. Then we have Tied Together with a Smile. I had no business crying to this as much as I did as a wee little child, but it just is that beautiful of a song. The last one is The Outside, probably the second most poppiest song on here. I know my grammar today, but this song is just so fun. I realize that none of like the populars, our song Teardrops on My Guitar, are in my top, but you'll see that some other albums, singles, they get me a whole lot more. But that's my thoughts on debut. In terms of like just sounds, this is definitely the songs that have the most personal meaning to me in terms of just like times in my life. So let's move on to number 9. In 9th place, we have Fearless TV, her second ever album that she released and the first vault or re-release that we got. Fearless, oh man, Love Story and You Belong With Me. I remember vividly watching those videos for the first time at 8 years old. This is truly such a magical, whimsical album, which we're going to get into Speak Now, her fairy tale album, soon-ish, but Fearless is just, it's a breath of fresh air is the best way that I can describe it. I think of all of her first 4 country releases, this is probably the one that I have listened to the least, and I listened to it the least during the Fearless era. So when Debut was out from like, I guess I was like 6 to 7, because it would have been 2006, 2007 when those songs were coming out, I definitely was listening to those. But when Fearless was out, I was primarily listening to the singles versus the album as a whole, plus I was 8 years old, so wasn't really out buying and listening to things. I wasn't streaming music or anything or burning CDs. So it tends to have fallen to the wayside for that. And to me, the singles from Fearless are my absolute fave from the album. And the vault tracks, ugh. I think I love the vaults on the other re-releases way more, but the vault tracks were just so fun and sweet to hear for the first time over. And like just the shock of hearing Mr. Perfectly Fine for the first time, absolutely amazing. Plus, as someone who grew up as a Disney girly, hearing all the songs about Joe Jonas was, growing up in that was just, it was a fun time. But Fearless, the way the numbers sorted it out, ended up in 9th place. In terms of my top 5 songs for Fearless, we have in first place, this is going to sound very local, You Belong With Me. Again, a very pop number. And for the second one, it's going to be a Love Story, and the third one is Fearless. So basically all the songs she plays on the Eras Tour. So that could be affecting my general thoughts and feelings right now, but I love those songs. Fearless was a sleeper hit as I was an adult. I don't think I listened to it as much when I was younger during the original release, but as an adult, the song slaps so hard. 4th place, Mr. Perfectly Fine. Obviously, it's my favorite vault track. It is just a banger and a bop and everything in between. That key change, amazing. And then in 5th place on Fearless is The Other Side of the Door. This song also I didn't listen to as much as a kid. It was on the deluxe version, so again, I wasn't streaming and buying as much when I was 8 years old. But as an adult, I have been influenced by the masses, and The Other Side of the Door, beautiful. The outro, listen, a ranty outro can get me anytime. I love a build. And those are my top 5 on Fearless. Fearless is most definitely the album that I would claim as the biggest breath of fresh air for me, and I did cry to the White Horse music video way too many times, more than probably an 8-year-old should, but hey, I was living my fairy tale life as an 8-year-old girl obsessed with princesses. But let's move on to the 8th album on my ranking. In 8th place, we have Evermore, our first folk, our alt pandemic album. This obviously is the second one that she surprise released in 2020. This album and Folklore in general, I just have fond memories of because I literally listened to those albums sitting on my bedroom floor, headphones in, pitch black. Like the very like dark ambiance of it all was definitely a nostalgic memory that will always live on forever in my head. I think Evermore and Folklore tend to rank about the same in their averages almost always, and very similar when I do this, so it kind of flips between Evermore and Folklore, and I think I'm just honestly listening to Folklore more right now, and you'll see that reflected in this. And like I said, she's a pop girly, so these albums, they had their moment, they had their time, but they kind of always stay in the middle of my ranking. But Evermore as an album is beautiful conceptually, and in terms of bangers that make you cry, like the songs, watching Tolerated performed live on the Eras Tour was truly an experience. And for all of those people who got Nobody No Crime, I truly really would have loved to be there, but Tis the Deb season was absolutely amazing. Oh man, this is just as an album, it's just truly fantastic. And to everyone who's like, well, these are just the songs that didn't make it off of Folklore, I'm like, well, forget it. Forget it. Evermore is just, it's a beautiful album. And to everyone who's there in their folk alt era, this truly amazing that you have this. And in terms of my top 5 songs, everyone's gonna get mad at me, probably, maybe, whatever. Again, Willow is probably the most pop song on this album, and it truly just, I love Willow. I love all the remixes of Willow, and Willow is my number 1 song on the album. And in second place on this album, we have Nobody No Crime. Listen, this might be the country girly popping out in me, and I'm like, I remember this. If you're familiar with country music, there's a lot of songs, well, maybe not a lot, but there's a specific genre of country women talking about, you know, often bad men, and Nobody No Crime is truly a great song to add to that selection. Then we have Cowboy Like Me. Every time Cowboy Like Me comes on, it's like I forget how amazing it is, and I'm transported back to the moment of hearing it for the first time of like, dang, this is an absolutely superior track. And then in fourth place is Tolerated, and then after that is 'Tis the Damn Season. The first 5 tracks on this album truly are some of the most magnificent things to ever come out into the world. 'Tis the Damn Season and Tolerated, oh my god. I think I slept on these a little the first time I listened to them, but as I've listened in the past couple years, they've just crept up and up and up on that list. Oh my god. I might, have I cried to Tolerated? Maybe, possibly. There are some songs that I will be talking about later that I have most definitely cried to a little more. But I don't go into songs listening with the intent to cry. I go into them with the intent to dance, and you'll see that coming up soon. For the number 7th album on this ranking, you probably could have guessed, is Folklore. Pretty similar to Evermore, the surprise release of Folklore was just a truly magical time. Because I was pretty big Swiftie before the pandemic happened, but I feel like the pandemic like brought all of us Swifties sleeping out in the wild and brought us back to the social media arena, and we were all just kept, and like we've been kept like at that level for a very long time. And pressing play on The One for the first time and hearing I'm doing good, I'm on some new shit, and then just hearing all the album like thinking, have they broken up yet? Which, newsflash, years later they do break up, so analysis to come for Tortured Poets Department. But it was a truly spiritual experience the first time you heard Folklore. Oh my gosh. And watching the Cardigan music video debut and just like learning about the love triangle for the first time, and just, oh my gosh, it was amazing. And then, of course, because it takes forever for Taylor Swift's website to shift things, but I did manage to get a hold of the bonus track The Lakes on the physical copy before she released it on the streaming, and the Lakes OG version, truly magnificent and amazing. And just like I said on the first 5 tracks on Evermore, the first 5 tracks on Folklore are my absolute faves on the album. So in first place right now is My Tears Ricochet. She edged out Exile, which is my number 2. Those two always bat for first and second place. My Tears Ricochet is a crying song for me. Like, it is a personal crying song. It's on my I'm Sad playlist. Exile, the first time I heard the bridge of that, I was truly taken aback by the sheer amazingness of this, and I would absolutely love to one day be able to scream sing this in a crowd of Swifties. Same way I scream sing All Too Well, I want to scream sing Exile. Then we have The Last Great American Dynasty, Cardigan, and The One, all in that order for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The One was a sleeper hit for me. She wasn't initially super high on the ranking the first time I listened to Folklore, but she's crept up. And then Last Great American Dynasty, I love a little bit of a Good For Her anthem, and this one is truly amazing. Hearing her scream, and she's the loudest woman this town has ever seen on the tour, is, yes. I'm surprised Mad Woman and Peace didn't creep up in here, because I'm truly absolutely big fans of those songs, but that's the way it worked out. But My Tears Ricochet and Exile will always and forever be my top 2 songs on this album. They are just sonically superior, and they're just amazing. But let's move on to number 6. So in 6th place is our first pop album, and it is the Lover album. Lover was a moment in time that I will never forget, and she was cut too short for us. 2019 would have been the first year I did not have social media. I was not allowed to have social media until I was 18. So it was the first year that I had social media to like really explore the Taylor Swift release fandom. And like I was on top of the releases. Like as soon as she put me out into the world, the lives, everything. I do not have all the Lover journals. I was not yet as big of a collector of CDs then as I am now. But this is the most like aesthetic that I like adhere to the most. Pink is my favorite color. It just truly is absolutely amazing. But in terms of like an album, like Lover is an album that kind of hits all over the place for me because I've gone in and out of like my favorites for the songs on the album. And to be fair, my favorite song on Lover is probably people's like least favorite or near the bottom of people's, favorites on the album, but I just am that girly. And my number 1 song on Lover is Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. This song is just magnificent. It's the title that caught me and got me the most intrigued. Oh, I also have to mention that this was the first Taylor Swift album where I got really into reaction videos on YouTube. And hey, look, we're doing reaction videos on YouTube now. So this is the album that got me into it. It just, yeah. So my number 1 song is Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. Love that song. The bridge, truly. And the fact that she opens the tour off with Miss Americana. And the documentary for Miss Americana, loved. I was sad when that video or that came out. And Lover Live in Paris. Oh, Loverfest. May she rest in peace. It would have been nice to hear all of these songs performed live. Oh, plus all of the girls you loved before for a vault track. Oh, amazing. Truly fantastic. My second favorite song on Lover is Cruel Summer, followed up by I Think He Knows. Oh my god, absolutely fantastic. Then Cornelia Street in 4th place, and Death by a Thousand Cuts. I know, we have some fan favorites here, but they're fan favorites for a reason. I Think He Knows, I don't know what the fan consensus of I Think He Knows is, but this song just like keeps batting into the top 5 because it's sexy, it's fun, it's upbeat. Like the entirety of Lover, it's just exploring all the facets of love, and it's just, truly fantastic. And not much more to say about this other than I really wish I had been there to scream Death by a Thousand Cuts Bridge live. And when she played Cornelia Street, truly. I do think that Death by a Thousand Cuts or Cornelia Street should have been on the set list, but I can understand in retrospect, given where she was probably emotionally, why it wasn't put on the album. But this is such a fun album, and I don't know, Lover in terms of its ranking, it really just depends on my mood. That's the way it averaged out. And let's move on to my top 5 albums. In 5th place, we have the album with my most favorite song of all time in Taylor Swift discography and why it probably always shoots up into the top 5, and that is Red, Taylor's version. And if you couldn't guess, All Too Well 10 Minute is my favorite song of all time from Taylor Swift. Will the Tortured Poets Department bring me a new favorite song? Midnight's almost did. Midnight's almost crept her way up in there. And Folklore for a hot second did. But we'll see. But All Too Well 10, I remember when Red came out, I was 12. And All Too Well and The Last Time were the songs that I scream-singed so much as a kid. And to watch the All Too Well performance on the Grammys, like in my living room, I'm like, I was just truly taken aback at how amazing and emotional a performance can be, and this truly solidified my opinions as a Swiftie. I was already a pretty big Swiftie as a kid from the previous albums, but this performance really solidified my love of live performance and my love of truly emotional, like bold songs, and the fact that we have the 10-minute version now truly is fantastic. I will say my top 5 songs on this album are probably going to take some people off, just because as I've gotten older, the pop really overtakes my opinions on songs, and the pop songs on this really do take over a lot. So my number 1 song is obviously All Too Well. And surprisingly enough, as an adult, and I'm no longer this age anymore, but it's 22, 22 has been a song that for some reason, and this could just be a current moment thing, has been on repeat so much for me in the past couple years since Red TV came out. Although surprisingly, when I was 22, I didn't listen to it as much. I'm 24 right now, so I basically got Red TV right before I turned 22, and yeah, so I just bopped to it. This is probably the song that has the most misheard lyrics for me of all time. So let me know which song of Taylor's has the most misheard lyrics for you of all time. And in third place, we have The Very First Night. I love a pop song. This song, I understand why it was on the original album, and I'm pretty sure this is a song that is a little bit more about the Harry Styles relationship. So we got all of 1989 to go through for that. But this song is beautiful, amazing. I love the bridge on this song. Then we have, and I know people are going to be mad at me for this, I Knew Your Trouble. Was this the song that I left to use the bathroom in during the second night of Nashville? Yes. However, this song, every time it comes around, I can't stop playing it. The beat and the video are forever stuck in my head, and I think that's why she always moves up high. And also, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. I'm sorry. I know the we has ticked some people off, but what can you do? Also, shout out, honorable mention to The Last Time, because she's, again, I scream sing that basically from age 12 to 24 now. 12 years later, still singing that. But those are my top 5. Absolutely love those songs. The pop overtook me. The singles overtook me this time round. But this isn't the first time that the singles overtake me. And to everyone who's like, Taylor Swift's lead singles are just never as good as the rest of the album, you need to sit down, because some of us have emotional attachments to these songs. So then an album that I have grown to love so much in the past few years, in number 4, is Speak Now, Taylor's version. I was there when she announced Speak Now TV, so maybe that has some weight on this. And plus, the Speak Now TV vault just has me. Like, I am a rock girl. I love a rock flair to anything that anyone does. And Speak Now was her album to really give us that and explore that. And it's just grown on me. Like, I feel like a couple years ago, I probably would have ranked Speak Now like 8th, 7th, or 8th, but now it's in 4th place, and I cannot stop playing it because it just is that good. In terms of like the songs I love on Speak Now, the vault has me beholden. Plus, let's just say my top 3 songs on Speak Now have just exponentially like eclipsed my top 13 songs of Taylor Swift of all time, so that's sort of how it works out. But as of right now, my top 5 songs are Long Live. I have cried way too many times to this song. Then we have Haunted. Haunted haters, go away. We are rock girlies. We love a violin. We love a haunting number. Then Enchanted. Oh, Enchanted. To get a music video for Enchanted would have been an amazing time. And in 4th place is Better Than Revenge. I know the feminism leaves the body when we listen to this song, but she did change the lyrics, plus also rock girly. Rock girly. The outro, truly fantastic. Like the vibes. Listen, the vibes are a little mean. But hey. And speaking of, songs that follow after this, actually, Mean is just in 6th place. The song that follows after this is actually The Story of Us. The Story of Us, I played that music video on repeat as a kid. Like, turn it up on the TV, play it on repeat, listen to this song over and over again. She may have lost some of its luster over the years, but she's still in 5th place. She's still clinging on for dear life. But to me, Long Live, Haunted, and Enchanted are probably like what I consider her big and bold songs on this album, so it's no surprise that those are at the top spot. Plus, I think Long Live is always my graduation song, and I'm about to graduate from my master's degree, so it kind of just worked out that Long Live is peaking right now. It's at peak time to really hit for me. But Speak Now, she's in 4th place. So, moving on to top 3. 1989 TV is in 3rd place, and she has been dethroned from her 2nd place positioning, and you'll see by how it shook out in a minute. But 1989 TV was my freshman year of high school experience. It was my 14-year-old experience. It truly holds a magical place in my heart. And to have survived 2016 with Taylor and all that we had was 1989 of Pop Taylor, this was truly a time. Plus, I'm wearing my new 1989 earrings. They are pink, but like ignore that. And the vault of all the vaults to me is probably the most superior in terms of like I thoroughly enjoy and love every single vault song on this album. The first time that we get Jack Antonoff, and then Sweeter Than Fiction just creeping its way back up, and the Bad Blood remix, watching that video premiere live, an experience you had to live through when it came out. And being the first pop album by Taylor, she has lasted. And the singles from this album are truly some of the most superior singles that she has ever released out into the world. We get it, Shake It Off is necessarily not everyone's favorite, but for the time, she was truly shocked to the system. Like, when that single came out and I was watching a music video, I was like, ooh, we're going somewhere new. And there's a reason it's one of the most highly awarded albums of all time. So, my top 5 songs on 1989 TV are Out of the Woods, because Out of the Woods was my surprise song. I have an attachment to this. Then Style, love Style so much. Wildest Dreams will always and forever be a song that has a chokehold on me. Then I Wish You Would and Blank Space. I think I'm in a singles mood right now because also I Know Places was my favorite song on 1989 TV as a kid. So honorable mention to I Know Places and Is It Over Now for just the sheer superiority of those songs, and plus the Bad Blood remix. Kendrick Lamar was, it was amazing. Like, the music video to this day and the lore surrounding that music video will forever be something I love. Plus the street style was styling for this. It just, man, I have so many good memories of this album. But let's move on to my second place album. In second place, we have her most recent album release, and that is Midnights. This album, one, probably recency does affect some of its ranking, but it is probably truly her most like really like pop, synth pop album, and that just has me. And just the quantity of music we have, like the lyricism is at an all-time high, the production is at an all-time high, the storytelling, everything was just absolutely superior. And this was the album that, next to Folklore, this is the album that we came in, like, we had anticipation going in, but we knew nothing. Because even like the visuals that we got were different, and just hearing Meet Me at Midnight for the first time, and then the 3 a.m. tracks with Would've, Could've, Should've, I was just truly just taken aback. And to me, it's funny to me because when the first time I listened to this, like Bejeweled and Karma were like songs for me, and now they're some of my favorites of all time. Like, the performance of this on the Eras tour, just, there's no way that it could end any different. And the fact that Tortured Poets Department could be following similar sounds and vibes to Midnights, we don't really know, just has me ready to see what it's going to sound like. And I think it's a testament to Taylor's work that her most recent albums tend to climb into my top 5, just for the sheer fact that as an artist, you want to be continuing to grow and get better at developing your craft over time, and Midnights should be ranked fairly highly for her most recent albums because it should be sonically, lyrically, and just altogether some of her best works. And hey, it's an amazing album, and the fact that we explore some topics that she's explored in the past before, but maybe not as in depth, and some topics that we've never really explored before, like You're on Your Own Kid being a full retrospective of her career, truly and utterly amazing. But in terms of my number 1 songs on the album, in first place is the vault track, You're Losing Me. This and the second place song, Would've, Could've, Should've, are songs that constantly in my head compete with All Too Well 10 for like number 1 spots. And it has a test. I think it's just a personal thing about how these are probably some of her boldest songs, but also her saddest songs of all time, what I love in music. And truly, to me, these songs just will always and forever hold a place in my heart because they invoke so much meaning and feeling in a song while also having such poppy production behind them. And it's just the anger, the sadness, and everything explored is truly and utterly amazing. And then after that, we have Karma. Karma girl. Karma is that girl, and I have nothing else to say after that. Then after that we have The Great War. Ugh, The Great War. This just is a song. It's amazing. I have nothing else to say about this. It's just truly freaking amazing. And then the song after that is Maroon, with an honorable mention to Lavender Haze. Maroon, raise your hands if you think the bridge of Maroon is truly freaking fantastic. Like, scream that in a crowded room, and I'll be absolutely just thrown, torn, happy, amazing, everything, all the feelings. So let's move on to my favorite album of Taylor Swift's of all time. To no one's surprise, Reputation is my favorite Taylor Swift album of all time. It is the album that I graduated from high school with. It is the album where I truly, for the first time, was able to stay up late at night to watch a Taylor Swift music video and song release, and that was for Look What You Made Me Do. And to be a Swiftie during the time of Reputation was truly an amazing experience. And the Reputation Stadium tour I never got to go to. The first tour of Taylor's I ever got to go to, and the first tour I really ever got to go to, was the Eras tour, and the fact that I couldn't go to Reputation, I'm just like, oh my god. But this album, I am a girl who loves a bad bitch anthem, and this is Taylor Swift's Clap Back. To me, it's funny to me because I would most definitely describe the Reputation era as a tortured lover, because there's so many love songs on here, but there's a lot of tortured anger to the production on the tracks and the feelings behind it. And so the fact that the album that's probably going to close off the Joe Alwyn experience for us is called The Tortured Poets Department, I think is truly a good bookend to all of the albums. And Reputation TV is going to be the absolute most superior. The Look What You Made Me Do music video had so many Easter eggs that we have yet to figure it out. Come on. All the videos, all the vibes, everything was truly immaculate. The performances, I Did Something Bad on tour, truly freaking amazing. So, my top 5 songs on this album almost never change, and that is, in first place, we have Don't Blame Me, my spiritual anthem. The fact that this was on the Eras tour made me so happy. Then we have This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. I love petty pop. I love a petty bop, and this song is that. The bridge, absolutely amazing. Then we have I Did Something Bad. This is my most played Taylor Swift song of all time on Spotify. It pretty much remains in that spot. Although Don't Blame Me, she is creeping up there. Then we have Dress. Dress, as an adult, has grown on me so much more. Maybe for obvious reasons, but whoo, Dress. She's amazing. She's fantastic. She's lovely. And then in 5th place is Getaway Car. The fandom's favorite. Getaway Car is just, it is that song. And I want a Getaway Car music video so much when Reputation TV comes out. And the vault for Rep TV will end me. The vault for Debut and Rep TV will be the end of me. The 2 albums that I was always most excited to hear the vaults for, and we still haven't gotten them yet. We still have a whole new album to go through. But hey, that's my number 1 favorite Taylor Swift album of all time. The vibes, the era, the sonics, the lyrics, they just will always probably be near the top. But I guess we'll have to wait to see how the Tortured Poets Department shakes out. So let me know what your album ranking is in the comments down below. What are your favorite memories from past eras, and what memories are you looking forward to make during the current era? And what would you like me to react to or rank next?